growing awareness of racial injustice, and you have these economic disparities that are becoming more and more apparent.
Exactly. And while McBride doesn't explicitly address these issues in a head-on way, they're always there simmering beneath the surface, informing the characters' choices and shaping their worldviews.
You get this sense that the cause houses are a microcosm of a larger story.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter, your shortcut to being well-read, even when you're on the go.
That's right.
This month, we're diving into some incredible Black voices in honor of Black History Month.
Absolutely.
And today, we are going deep with Deacon King Kong by James McBride.
It's a book that really throws you right into the heart of 1960s Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Specifically the Cause Houses projects, but it's so much more than just a setting.
Right.
McBride uses the Cause Houses to explore themes of community,
Right.
resilience, and the complexities of the Black experience during a time of really significant social change.
Yeah, the Claus houses feel like a character in themselves, right? You've got that ever-present smell from the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh,
the
yeah.
shared plaza where everyone gathers, and this vibrant mix of residents.
Absolutely.
From gossiping church ladies to numbers runners.
Absolutely. And that's where we meet Sportcoat, our main man, also known as Deacon King Kong.
Uh-huh.
He's this aging deacon known for his love of King Kong rot gut liquor.
Oh, yeah.
And his tendency to stumble into one predicament after another.
He's such a fascinating, complex character.
Oh, he is.
On the one hand, he's got this almost comical side.
Yes.
Like the time he tries to help Deems,
Right.
the drug dealer he accidentally shot.
Yeah.
By performing some medical procedure he vaguely remembers.
Right. And then you have these moments where you see this deeper side to him, this almost spiritual connection to his deceased friend, Hetty, who acts as a sort of spirit guide.
Right.
He's flawed, but he's also deeply human, and he represents something essential about the spirit of the Cause Houses.
I was struck by how McBride uses Sportcoat's near-death experiences almost from birth.
Yeah.
To explore this idea of resilience, not just for Sportcoat, but for the entire community.
Right.
It's like they've all been through so much.
Yeah.
Yet they continue to find ways to laugh, to love, and to support each other.
It makes you wonder, what are the sources of that resilience? Is it faith? Is it community? Is it this shared history of struggle and survival that binds them together?
I think it's a bit of everything. You see it in the church with its strong sense of faith and tradition.
Right.
But you also see it in the more secular aspects of life in the Cause houses.
Yeah.
Like the way neighbors look out for each other's kids, or the way they come together for Hetty's funeral, even with all its chaos and mishaps.
And let's not forget the music McBride weaves in this rich tapestry of sounds, from gospel to jazz to the salsa music that drifts over from the nearby Italian neighborhood. It's like a soundtrack to their lives, reflecting both their struggles and their joys.
There's this scene where Soup, who's recently returned from prison, throws a party, and it becomes this microcosm of the entire community.
Yeah.
You see the tensions, the rivalries, but also this underlying sense of unity, of belonging.
Yeah.
They might not always get along, but they're all in it together.
That sense of shared experience, of collective memory, feels so central to McBride's portrayal of the Black experience in this book. It's not just about individual characters, it's about the web of relationships, the interconnectedness that defines their lives.
And it's all set against this backdrop of social and political upheaval. You have the civil rights movement gaining momentum.
Right.
You have this growing awareness of racial injustice, and you have these economic disparities that are becoming more and more apparent.
Exactly. And while McBride doesn't explicitly address these issues in a head-on way, they're always there simmering beneath the surface, informing the characters' choices and shaping their worldviews.
You get this sense that the cause houses are a microcosm of a larger struggle, a place where the personal and the political collide in ways that are both fascinating and heartbreaking.
And you see that tension played out in the relationship between the Cause houses and the Italian neighborhood nearby.
Oh, yeah.
There's this sense of encroachment, change that's both inevitable and unsettling.
It's like these two communities are living side by side, but also in separate worlds, each with its own set of rules and expectations.
And Sportcoat, in a way, bridges those worlds. He works odd jobs for the Italian mob, but he's also deeply rooted in the Cause houses. He's this outsider-insider figure who sees both sides of the story.
It makes me think about how identity is often shaped by both internal and external forces, by the communities we belong to and the systems that surround us.
Right. And for Black communities in America, that identity has often been defined by struggle, by resilience in the face of adversity. And that's something that McBride captures so beautifully in this book.
It's not just about the hardships they face. It's about how they find ways to create joy, to celebrate life, to maintain their dignity in a world that often tries to strip it away.
Think about Sister Guy, for instance. She's tough, she's outspoken, but she also has this incredibly tender heart. She takes care of the kids in the Cause houses like they're her own, and she's a fierce advocate for her community.
She's a reminder that strength comes in many forms, and it's often the people we least expect who show the most resilience.
And then there's the mystery surrounding the church's land ownership. It turns out there's this hidden history, a connection to the Italian mob that goes back generations.
It's like McBride is peeling back the layers of the past, revealing the secrets that have shaped these communities and the forces that continue to influence their present.
And it raises questions about power, about who controls the narrative, and about how history is often written by the victors.
It's interesting how McBride uses humor to tackle some pretty weighty issues, like when Sportcoat accidentally shoots Deems and then tries to perform this makeshift surgery on him. It's funny, but it also speaks to a certain desperation. A lack of access to proper medical care.
That blend of humor and pathos is one of McBride's strengths. He can make you laugh out loud one minute and then break your heart the next, and he does it all with this incredible ear for dialogue, for the rhythms and cadences of Black speech.
You can practically hear the voices of these characters coming off the page, and it just pulls you deeper into their world.
It's like listening to a symphony of voices, each one unique and unforgettable. You have the sharp wit of Sister Guy, the streetwise swagger of Deems, and the folksy wisdom of Sportcoat.
And then there's Soup, who returns from prison, a changed man embracing the Nation of Islam, but also struggling to find his place in a world that's moved on without him.
He represents this yearning for redemption, this desire to contribute to his community. But he's also haunted by his past, by the choices he made that led him down a dark path.
His relationship with Sportcoat is particularly interesting. There's this unspoken tension between them, a clash of generations and ideologies.
It speaks to the evolution of the Black experience, the different ways of responding to oppression and striving for equality. And it shows how even within a close-knit community, there can be deep divisions and conflicting perspectives.
One of the things that stayed with me long after I finished the book was the ending. It's bittersweet with a sense of both loss and hope.
It's like McBride is acknowledging the pain, injustices that these characters have endured, but he's also suggesting that life goes on, that there's still beauty to be found even in the midst of struggle.
That final scene with the cheese distribution is so powerful. It's this unexpected act of generosity that brings the community together in this heartwarming yet slightly absurd way.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are moments of grace, of unexpected kindness that can lift us up and remind us of our shared humanity.
This book is a true celebration of Black life in all its complexity and resilience. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's insightful, and it's ultimately a story about hope and the enduring power of community.
And it leaves us with so many questions to ponder. How do we create communities that are truly inclusive and supportive? How do we honor the legacies of those who came before us while also forging new paths for future generations?
And what other stories are out there waiting to be told that can shed light on the Black experience and all its diversity and richness?
Yeah, it makes you realize how much richer our understanding of the world can be when we actively seek out diverse voices and perspectives.
Absolutely. And speaking of seeking out voices...
Yeah. I think it's a perfect time to shift gears a bit. We've spent this deep dive exploring Deacon King Kong, but what about other authors who offer equally insightful and engaging explorations of the Black experience?
That's a great point. I'm always on the lookout for new authors to add to my reading list, especially during Black History Month.
Yeah.
What are some writers or books that have resonated with you lately?
Well, if you're interested in stories that grapple with the complexities of identity and belonging, I highly recommend Homegoing by Yagyasi.
Okay.
It's a multi-generational epic that traces the lineage of two half-sisters born in Ghana in the 18th century. One sold into slavery in America, the other remaining in Africa.
Wow, that sounds like a sweeping and ambitious novel.
It is, and it's beautifully written. Diasi's prose is lyrical and haunting, and she weaves together these intricate narratives that span centuries and continents.
I've also been meaning to check out The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett.
Oh, yes.
I've heard amazing things about it.
It's fantastic. It's a contemporary novel that explores the themes of race class and passing through the story of twin sisters who choose to live very different lives. One white Bennett is a master of character development, and she really makes you think about the choices people make and the consequences of those choices.
And for nonfiction, I recently read Heavy, an American memoir by Keys Lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a powerful and deeply personal exploration of race, weight, and family trauma.
Lehman's writing is so raw and honest. He doesn't shy away from difficult topics, and he challenges us to confront our own biases and assumptions.
What I appreciate about all these authors is that they're not afraid to tackle complex and challenging themes, but they do it in a way that's both thought-provoking and engaging.
Exactly. They remind us that the Black experience is not monolithic. There are so many different stories to be told, so many different perspectives to be explored.
I think that's one of the most important takeaways from our deep dive into Deacon King Kong and our conversation about these other incredible authors.
It's about recognizing the richness, the diversity, and the complexity of Black voices and experiences, and it's about making a conscious effort to seek out these voices, not just during Black History Month, but throughout the year.
Because these stories matter, they challenge us, they inspire us, and they help us to see the world in new and meaningful ways.
And ultimately, they remind us of our shared humanity, of the things that connect us across cultures, backgrounds, and experiences.
So to our listeners, I encourage you to pick up a copy of Deacon King Kong if you haven't already, and to explore the works of these other amazing authors we've discussed today.
And let this be the start of a lifelong journey of discovery, of seeking out diverse voices and perspectives, and of expanding your understanding of the world through the power of literature.
Because as we've seen today, reading isn't just about escaping into other worlds. It's about engaging with the real world in all its complexity and beauty.
And who knows, maybe one of these books will spark a conversation challenge, an assumption, or inspire you to see the world in a new light.
That's the magic of storytelling.
Yeah.
It has the power to change hearts, minds, and ultimately the world.
Well said. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into Deacon King Kong and our exploration of Black voices in literature.
It's been a real pleasure unpacking these books with you.
The pleasure was all mine. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope it's inspired you to pick up a book, open your mind, and embrace the power of diverse storytelling. Until next time, happy reading.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.